18 missed signals that broke your cat's heart. Today we're diving into the subtle signs your cat gave you. Pleas, invitations, and quiet cries for connection that you accidentally ignored. These aren't just quirky moments. These were emotional doorways your cat opened, and then watched you walk right past. If you've ever wondered why your cat seems a little colder lately, or why they don't curl up in your lap like they used to, this might explain it. These are the missed signals that quietly broke your cat's heart. And trust me, once you understand them, you'll never look at that little face the same way again. Let's begin. 1. You yawned when they stared at you but didn't slow blink back. To a cat, the slow blink is a love letter. It's how they say, "I trust you enough to close my eyes." But when your cat blinked at you, softly, slowly, hopefully, and you yawned, scrolled your phone, or looked away, it stung. You didn't just miss a blink. You missed their version of, "I love you." It's not your fault. You probably didn't know. But to them, your silence was rejection. You missed your cue to say, "I feel safe with you too." 2. They brought you their toy, and you just moved it out of the way. That rope mouse they dropped at your feet, that crinkly fish they placed on your bed, those weren't just random toys scattered around the house. They were offerings, tokens of trust. Your cat was inviting you into play, a ritual that for them is sacred, but you were busy, or tired, or cleaning, so you moved the toy aside. What they heard was, "Not now, you don't matter," and a piece of them quietly curled up inside and didn't come back out. 3. They nuzzled your hand, and you took a selfie instead. You were petting them. They were content. And then they leaned in, rubbed their face against your fingers, scenting you. In cat language, that's not just affection. It's ownership. You're mine, and I'm yours. But instead of soaking in the moment, you opened the camera app and posed. What they wanted was presence. What they got was a photo shoot. To you, it's just a cute moment for socials. To them, it was a chance to connect. And you replaced it with glass and pixels. 4. They waited at the door when you came home, but you walked right past. Cats don't always greet us like dogs do. But when they do, when they sit silently at the door, ears tilted just slightly forward, eyes wide and tail gently twitching, they're making themselves emotionally vulnerable. It's their version of saying, "I missed you." But if you walked past, juggling your bag and your phone, saying nothing, you might have just confirmed a fear they'd never say out loud, that I matter less than your inbox. 5. They chirped at you from the window, and you thought it was just bird noise. That little trill, that half meow, half purr, that wasn't random. That was your cat seeing something exciting, maybe a bird, a squirrel, or a breeze, and wanting you to share the moment. You didn't need to catch the bird. You just needed to look. They chirped again, louder this time, but you kept watching your show, and they stopped chirping. 6. They sat just out of reach, waiting for you to close the distance. Cats aren't always lap animals. Sometimes they'll sit a few feet away, with their back half turned toward you, tail curved like a question mark. That posture, that's an invitation. They're saying, "I want to be near you, but I need you to come halfway." But you didn't. You assumed they were being aloof, so they waited and waited, until eventually they got up, stretched, and walked away with that slow, heavy dignity that only heartbreak can cause. 7. They pawed your book or laptop, and you pushed their paw away. You were deep in thought, reading, typing, working, and then, tap tap, a tiny paw lands on your keyboard. You sigh, you gently move them aside, but to them, that wasn't mischief. That was them saying, "Can I be near you while you do this?" They weren't trying to ruin your flow. They were trying to be part of your world. And when you brushed them off, they quietly learned that your work lives in a place they're not invited to. 8. They showed you their belly, and you laughed and walked away. Contrary to popular belief, cats don't always expose their bellies just to trap you into a scratch and bleed situation. Sometimes it's pure trust, vulnerability. Their organs are exposed. Their legs are outstretched. They are defenseless. That's not just a pose, it's a statement. I trust you with everything. But you didn't see the invitation. You chuckled, took a photo, walked away, and in their heart a little light dimmed. 9. They brought you a bug, and you screamed. This is where it gets complicated. Yes, that bug was horrifying. But to your cat, that bug was a prize, a medal, a demonstration of their skill and dedication to your shared territory. They didn't just catch it, they hunted it. For you. When you gasped and grabbed the broom, they didn't understand fear. They only saw rejection of their gift. What was meant to bring you closer ended with you disgusted, and them confused. 10. They groomed you, and you moved away. That little lick on your hand, that sandpaper kiss on your arm, that was a deeply intimate act in feline society. Grooming is reserved for those considered part of their inner circle, family, but it tickled, or felt weird, so you pulled away. What they felt was this: I thought we were close. I thought I could love you like this, and they never tried to groom you again. 11. They touched noses with you, and you turned away. In cat culture, touching noses is a sacred greeting. It's how they recognize their allies. It's the feline equivalent of saying, "We're still good, right?" When your cat slowly approached, lifted their head, and aimed for your face, this was not random sniffing. This was them extending a fragile bridge of connection. But you flinched, or looked at your phone, or simply walked past, and the bridge crumbled before they could cross it. 12. They followed you from room to room, and you closed the door behind you. Some cats are more shadow than pet. They linger at your feet, trail behind you, and wait outside the bathroom like soft little sentinels, not because they need anything, just because they want to be where you are. But you needed space, so you closed the door, again and again. To you, it was practical. To them, it was exile. 13. They purred through the pain, and you didn't notice. Cats don't cry when they hurt. They don't limp for sympathy or moan for attention. In fact, they purr, sometimes to soothe themselves during discomfort. So when your cat climbed into your lap, purred a little louder than usual, and sat there just a bit too still, they were telling you something. They were asking for help, but you assumed they were fine, and they suffered in silence. 14. They watched you pack your suitcase and thought you were leaving forever. Cats may not know what business trip means, but they know what the sound of a zipper means. The suitcase, the shoes by the door, the shift in energy. You thought they didn't care, but they did. They watched from the hallway. They sniffed your luggage. They curled into the open suitcase when you weren't looking, not for the fabric, but for your scent. And when the door clicked shut behind you, a part of them feared you wouldn't return. 15. They sat on your chest in the middle of the night, and you pushed them off. You were tired. You just wanted sleep. But for your cat, that moment was sacred. They climbed up slowly, paws pressing one by one onto your ribs, breath warm and rhythmic. They were choosing to rest on your heart. That's not just warmth-seeking. That's devotion. But your hand came up, you nudged them off, and to them, it felt like you pushed away a confession of love. 16. They kept showing you a spot on the floor, and you ignored it. Your cat sat by the same corner for days. They meowed at it, pawed at it, looked at you, then looked back. You assumed it was nothing. You chalked it up to cat weirdness, but maybe they were trying to show you something. A draft, a bug, a scent, or a memory. Maybe that corner had significance only they could sense, something worth sharing. When you didn't acknowledge it, they eventually stopped trying and started believing their discoveries didn't matter to you. 17. They watched you cry, and you didn't let them help. Cats can't pass tissues. They can't offer advice, but they know sadness. They smell stress in your sweat. They hear it in your silence. When they came closer, tail low, ears tilted back, they weren't being nosy. They were checking on you, offering their presence, their fur, their quiet comfort, but you shooed them away or closed the door. And they walked off with a weight they didn't understand, only that they weren't allowed to help carry it. 18. They tried to mirror your sleep schedule and gave up. At first, your cat adapted. They stayed up later, slept when you did, watched you make coffee instead of darting around at 4 a.m. But over time, they realized they were always sleeping alone, that you never made space for their morning zoomies or twilight cuddles. Eventually, they gave up syncing with your world. They stopped trying to meet you halfway in time and accepted being a creature you rarely noticed until noon. And there you have it. Those are the missed signals that break your cat's heart. Want to learn more? Discover the signs that they are mad at you, or learn how they tell you, "I love you." Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.